Afternoon everyone, welcome to Carrow Road, where Norwich City's 8-game unbeaten run in all competitions has come to an end thanks to a 1-0 defeat here at home to Stoke City. I am going to be on my best behaviour, so don't worry, I've even written down some notes, so fingers crossed this will go well. Stoke's first away win of the season came today here. I don't think they had particularly many in the Premier League last year either, so it was a big day for them. I think their fans acknowledged how poor Norwich must be because they won this game, and I think really they can consider themselves pretty fortunate to have grabbed it, given how the game was panning out. Norwich played very well in the opening exchanges. Tim Close's own goal on 34 minutes, I think it was, which was Tim sliding to try and get on the way of something, and ultimately diverting the cross beyond Tim Krul, who was wrong-footed. It's a very difficult goal to defend against, if that's the right way of putting it. So in terms of then the flow, that allowed that gave Stoke exactly what they needed to do exactly what they could, which was they'd already matched Norwich up and altered their formation to be more defensive and to halt Norwich's attacking play, and then basically they just sat deep, and they hadn't really done much before that point, and they just really suffocated the game in a lot of respects. They got a couple of chances later on to have maybe made it 2, given Norwich were leaving gaps at the back, and that was sort of ultimately how it happened. What I would say at this point is that there is no way Stoke are going up this year, judging by, regardless of the names and the supposed quality on paper they've got, that side isn't going up. I'm more than welcome for you guys to clip that out and use it if they do go up. I feel pretty confident it won't happen, but there we go. I'm sure they'll have fun along the way, and they'll have some good runs, and they'll pick up some wins here and there, but if you're telling me that side is good enough to go up, then I'm not seeing it personally. Now, there were other things, and I will get on to Norwich, but I don't understand why there were only 4 minutes of added time when there were 6 substitutions in the second half and all that. But there we go. I don't know if the extra time would have maybe meant that Norwich would have scored in it. I doubt it. Likewise, I know there isn't a 6-second rule on goalkeepers maybe getting rid of the ball, but maybe today was a good advert for the fact that they should bring that back, because Jack Butland was taking a very long time to just release the ball. But there we go. We've been there before. We know how it works. We know how the game works, etc., etc. But there we go. As for Norwich, let's be quite clear. They didn't really do enough. I think ultimately it probably proved that Daniel Farke got it wrong by not changing the side. It was an unchanged 11 for the 5th successive league game, and I think it probably showed. I thought Teemu Pukki was anonymous is probably harsh, because he actually grew into it quite late on, but the game didn't suit him primarily was one issue. I think that Norwich had to rely on crossing the ball because they couldn't find a way through Stoke's midfield and central areas, especially once Stoke got ahead. Ultimately, in that situation, Norwich probably needed a 2 up front, and they needed to use the way that they were crossing the ball, because with either Pukki or then Jordan Rhodes up top on his own, it didn't really give Norwich a decent enough outlet to try and create anything really clear cut in terms of chances. So tactical issues there, I thought. And it has to be said that the changes didn't really make much of an effect either, apart from obviously brilliancy and Hernandez back, and there were lots of positives to take from the fact that Anel came on and looked lively. It's still a bit rusty, but you realise Norwich have had a really good run of success recently and good performances. I personally thought they should have won at Derby in midweek, and we've still got Anel to bring into it, so that is at least a positive to take forward, and we can cling on to that one. Not entirely sure that bringing Alex Tettey off late on to obviously bring in, I think it was Mario Vrancic, obviously to give City more going forward, but in the end that probably gave away more than it helped create for Norwich, and possibly the changes could have come sooner as well. And Daniel's been pretty good at being proactive, but I thought within 5-10 minutes of the second half probably could have made changes. I don't think it would have done Norwich any harm, even if it may have came up with the same result. And there we go. That was Norwich's first defeat in 9 games, I think, in all competitions. They were unbeaten in 8 before today. Fair play to Carrow Road. I thought the atmosphere was excellent today, and there was some real noise for the first time in all season, I would say. I know people went on about the Middlesbrough atmosphere, but to me that was proper noise. That was Norwich fans acknowledging where the club have been recently, even though the attendance was under 25,000. Good atmosphere, and maybe, I don't know, a few fewer fans for a bit more noise, probably a trade-in most would make, but of course it's a long-term goal to have the place full and rocking, and Norwich to be delivering the right atmosphere and the right performances on the pitch to go with it. Of course, there's only one goal now, which is having Norwich having suffered a defeat, is of course to get back and earning points as quickly as possible, because what we don't want is any major slump in form such as we got last season. We don't want any autumnal slumps, and of course we've now got an international break to contemplate. A pretty harsh defeat, in all honesty, but there we go. These things happen. It's key now for Norwich when they get back to action to hit the ground running. It's not going to be easy for them. We've got some really tough games the other side of the international break as well. But if we want them to be a side that is maybe better than we expected at the start of the season, and we want them to use the depth in the squad that they appeared to have this time in terms of quality, let's hope we get to see it after the international break. Plenty more action and analysis, of course, at PinkUn.com over the international break and for the rest of the weekend. We'll see you there, and don't forget loads of interaction as well over at PinkUn.com during the international break in case you miss your football and your action. And we'll be back on the other side following all things Norwich City to PinkUn.com.